People say that one day the Earth will become overgrown with vegetation after human life has ceased to exist. Poison ivy just wants to ramp up the scale. What's up, everybody? I'm Stan, and welcome to Detail Comics, where we go over comics in detail. This is iRate Reviews, the show where I go over a comic book, its story, its art, give you my impressions, and let you know whether there's something you should go back to the comic book shop for or not. Make sure you subscribe to get more of these every single week. The book that I want to talk about right now is Batman number 41, which starts off the Everyone Loves Ivy arc, which is dealing with Poison Ivy and her plan to basically encapsulate and take over the entire world. And what we see is, well, it's pretty interesting because Batman and Catwoman seem to be the only people left to fight her. Let's take a dive into the story and see exactly what kind of plan she's got in mind. So Batman number 41 jumps right into a character that we haven't seen inside the Batman mythos written by Tom King yet, and that is Poison Ivy. And it all starts like a dream, like something out of the ether, as she kind of approaches everyone and introduces herself. But Batman, being the person that he is, wakes up and realizes that something's wrong, especially when Selina responds directly to Ivy the same way that he would have. He runs off to the Batcave, but he runs into Alfred, and Alfred's just like, hey, you know, what's up, Master Bruce? Where are your clothes? And as he tries to help him, Batman, Bruce immediately knocks him out, and then we find out that Alfred was holding a batarang, like he was possibly going to commit violence against his master. He makes his way down to the Batcave and he starts looking around, he formulates some sort of plan. He's working at his chemistry lab, and then Selina comes, she's like, come here, like, you look terrible, let me hold you, only to find that she starts to attack as he starts reaching for his antidote gun. He grabs it, stabs her in the neck with it, shoots her with this kind of antidote that he starts to inject himself with, and then they both pass out on the floor of the Batcave, waiting to, see the results. However, the one thing that we do know is that nobody else in the world, it seems, is so lucky. You've got Wonder Woman, you've got Superman, you've got all these different people from around the world, a man playing cricket, the Pope, the pilots of an airplane. They all say the same thing. I love you too. So everybody loves Ivy, because look at Mikel Janin's art. Mikel Janin's description and his portrayal of Ivy is fantastic. He's got a single page splash that just kind of gives you that same enhancement. The reason that everyone loves Ivy, besides these spores that are having some sort of psychic effect on people, she's one hell of a looker, especially in Janin's art. Of course, we wake up and then Batman's Batman, Selina's Selina. She's in her leather, he's in his suit. And who do they see at the foot of their bed? Alfred. Alfred starts telling a story about Superman and how he beat the Joker, but the big thing is that Batman is ready to take him out because he wants to solve this as much as possible and remove as many threats as he can. However, it provides one of the best cameos in the entire book, because as he goes to punch Alfred in the face, he immediately hits the Flash and knocks him out cold. So Ivy, who is in control of pretty much everybody in the world at this point in time, you can only assume, takes the Flash and has him run interference for Alfred so that way he doesn't get knocked out. And I just thought it was hilarious, especially, would you like to try again? There are a few more Flashes available. We get the plot, we get the plan that Poison Ivy has. She's in the park, she's growing her little domain, and she really goes through the aspect that she is doing everything for the best. Basically, she has created peace on Earth by taking control of everything and making everything better. Every superhero, every villain, every master of magic, explorer of the infinite, the smartest men alive, they're all attempting to be God, and yet she is now one. Because what she's done is she's taken the green and used it to control everyone, to make sure that they don't perpetrate these kind of things across the board, so that way they're not violent to their own people. She is making everything better, and she doesn't want anything from Batman because she already has everything. She has everything she could possibly want and everything she could possibly need. It's up to her to really kind of control the situation and make sure that everything goes to plan. Because she's got access to the Bat computer now, she's got Cyborg's ability, she has everyone, and there's no way to reverse this formula at this point in time. All you're really left with is Bruce and Selina with no real control and no necessary hope of reversing the situation and reclaiming the people that they know and they care about. It's okay that she doesn't have them, because she's got 7.6 billion people, so while they're there, they're not a concern to her. And what does this lead? This leads Selina to ask a number of questions. Everyone is everyone? Yeah, Batman doesn't know. How did she do it? He doesn't know. The League, the families, how can they correct it? And he's like, I don't know. So it's Bruce, it's Selina, it's an unconscious Flash waiting to find out whether they can correct this. And overall, the story is very different than what we've seen in the last few issues of Batman, simply because the story is still about Bruce and Selina. However, it's in more of a tandem kind of group effort when it comes to fighting this in a very different way. They're not necessarily trying to prove anybody. They're not trying to validate themselves to their friends. They're not going out on dates and those kind of things. This is them solving crime as kind of a tandem or a duo, and this is something beyond their real normal scope. So he has no support. She has no real experience in kind of tracking this down and making sure that this works. And they have to take on the task of freeing the world from the control of Poison Ivy. To be honest with you, I'm intrigued by the storyline. It's a very interesting story arc that seems to be starting up. And of course, Mikel Janin has done some of the best art on Tom King's run, from the Bane arc, you know, the I Am Suicide arc, and a few other things that he's done in this. It's just a really great interpretation of both characters. He's got a strong Bruce Wayne. He's got a very sexy Selina Kyle that goes into it. She's always very interesting when you look at her, and I'm really excited to see where this goes. But those are my thoughts, and I want to know what you guys think too, so hit me up in the comments down below and we can start that conversation. As always, if you like what you see, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe to get more news, reviews, and commentary on comic books, comic book movies, comic book TV shows and games, and anything and everything inside the world of comics.